Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. From our compound, from the West Coast to the East Coast to worldwide, both on the internet and terrestrial radio, you're listening to Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark.
Well, here I am, and it is After Dark here at the compound. Well, I went out and got another monster to put into my, a scary monster, matter of fact, to put into my, station studio. I just can't resist. I love scary things. James, are you there tonight?
Yes, I am here, and Gary, you've got a nice collection of monsters going on there.
Oh, yeah. Well, if I had a bigger studio, there'd be a lot more.
You're going to scare yourself one of these days. I just know it. You're going to forget it's there, turn around, and Skeletor with that big sword is going to just freak you out.
Well, I don't know. It's possible. I angled him different, and now instead of look like he's going to chop somebody's head off if they walk in the studio, he's like now has the sword facing me.
Right, that's right. He's going to get you one of these days. You're going to forget about it. I know you are. And then you're going to say, James, you was right. I had to remove them. They're scaring me.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, tonight on top of the hour at 7 here, Pacific West Coast time, we got Tobias Wayland on. You know, Tobias has all these cryptic stories. He's a master, a storyteller. He's great at giving all these reports, countrywide of, these creepy things like Mothman and all these other creatures that, are being sighted on a regular basis all across the country. You know that, James. And you know what? They're even being seen in places they've never been seen before.
That's true. And I will say this. Tobias, I would say, in my opinion, is at the foremost authority on cryptids worldwide, especially in the United States. So if you're into cryptids and you want some info on cryptids, he is definitely the man to listen to, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's always exciting when he's on because, I get actually scared after I get off the show because, some of these sightings that, when he interviews these people, you can tell that they're real. Anyway, this young girl goes in front of a church and yanks her eyes out.
What?
Yep.
Oh, my
She said
goodness.
she needs, she was screaming out, she needs to sacrifice her eyes for God.
You know what? There's wow, that's almost right out of an episode of XFiles there I've seen not too long ago where I think it was, I don't remember what, somewhere in the Bible it says something about that, but that's a little extreme. And I'm sure that God does not want you to rip your eyes out. That sounds to me, if you got a thought and it's in your head saying, rip my eyes out, I can assure you that's not God telling you to do it. That is something else mimicking God. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, but, it would destroy somebody's life. In this case, she's a young girl, and it's going to destroy her life now for the rest of her life. Well, another eerie moment happened. The U.S. Air Force sent a fighter out. And, the UFO overtakes the plane like the plane was standing still. Now, this was yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now,
and there was witnesses actually all around, and they took pictures of it. It's made major news media that they see this fighter with its afterburners going, shooting out the flames, and here's this UFO, and the UFO just goes past the plane like the plane is like standing still.
is amazing. I didn't see that one for some reason, but excuse me, it kind of reminds me of I forget who the lieutenant was back in the late '60s in California at that one base where they were testing them rockets, that go thousands of miles an hour. And the same principle, the UFO, was going around it and following it, and like it was sitting still, and it's moving thousands of miles an hour. And supposedly they filmed that too, but boy, that would be something if somebody's got some video of that somewhere that pops up in the next couple days.
Well, it's already on the news media, not a video, but actual still pictures of it. And it's rather interesting. A man, here's the thing. If you're going to get one of these holsters for your gun, put it in your hip or somewhere else. Don't put it in front of your pants. You're crazy to do this. A man went out and bought a new holster. And as he's loading the gun into the holster, he shoots his penis off.
Oh, boy, that is classic Barney Fife right there, if I ever heard it. Now, you've seen Barney Fife shoot his foot how many times on Andy Griffith? You don't load your gun in the holster, especially if you got it in that area. That's just bad karma. It's just bad all around. I bet he won't do that again.
Well, that reminds me when I first married my wife years and years and years ago. In between radio jobs, I took a job in a department store as assistant manager for like 6 months. And we had a great big trash compactor, not for trash, but for cardboard, a baler. You would crush the cardboard and then, it would bale it and then you pull it out of the machine. Well, anyway, I told the guy in there, don't turn the machine on. All he heard is turn the machine on. My hand was in there. I managed to get my hand out. I would not got hurt at all, but I had a wedding ring, which kind of got my hand stuck. So it cut the tip of my finger off, which thank God they managed to put it back on. But as we're in the hospital, I'm sitting in the emergency room, and I'm sitting here bleeding like you wouldn't believe. At that point, the shock has already hit me, where now it's hurting really bad. Here comes a guy, being, on a gurney, being brought in next to me. The guy was so intelligent, he was using a skill saw at the kitchen table, and he dropped it.
Oh, my goodness.
To make the thing absolutely worse, he removed his penis like in one, major cut. But find out, he was saying, I just got married last week, and he was screaming that. And I'm sitting here like, hey, Linda, why don't you just take me home? I can live without the tip of my finger. Yeah, just thinking somebody, whacked off their penis and, just got married. And, I wonder what that would do to a relationship.
Yeah, not to mention it almost made you feel bad to be worried about your little fingertip. Jeez, wow, that's just bad karma, bad decisions. Decisions have consequences, and some of them aren't very good. So don't take a circular saw in your kitchen and try to cut things. It could go bad real quick.
Oh, yeah. Do you know there is a cryptid called Candy? It's a sea animal, and it's off the Pacific coast of North America.
No, I didn't. You know what? That's a new one. I've never heard of that. Now, is it all up the coast or is it isolated?
It just says on the Pacific coast of North America.
Yeah. So, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. I know on the East Coast they got one. Can't recall the name, but it's like a snake-like, and it's been seen for hundreds of years, been reported. Probably that one, too. And it doesn't surprise me. There's creatures out there, Gary, that, especially in the ocean, you know how vast the ocean is, and we have yet to even map most of it. So who knows what's laying down in there.
Well, especially how deep it is. Occasionally, when they die, they come to the surface or they get caught in a net or something like that. And they have really found some really strange creatures, which, they thought had been dead for like 1 million years. But yet something has survived in a category which they thought it would be non-existent. So who knows what's down there?
That's right. Like that one fish, I think it's called an oarfish. They get like 20, 30 feet long, got like a big old thing on their head. It looked like a snake. I think it caught one in San Diego in the 70s. But if you see one of those, live, you would think, it's a sea monster or a creature or something. They're very strange looking. There's all kind of strange things out there. We just don't know. Like the giant squid. That was for years. That was just a legend or a rumor until we actually seen one on video, and until a few washed up on shore.
Yeah, off of Scotland. Okay, a sailor was out on his boat, and he claims he was raped by 2 mermaids.
Was he drinking the scotch, was he?
I have no Irish whiskey, I guess.
I wonder if the mermaids were they the female version or the male version, and that's doing something. They must morphed their tails off and came on and did this. That's just a bizarre story. But there are stories out there, and the real mermaids are actually they think they're sirens, which is like a more of the lore of it's more of an evil type thing, where they would lull in sailors and then attack and eat them or whatnot or whatever.
Well, they also would shapeshift too. So here, you'd see this beautiful woman, right? And a sailor, oh, I'm going to save you, I'll save you, right? And as you're saving one of those sirens, right, they turn into their wicked, ugly looks.
Yeah, that's how they lure you in. You're right. They shapeshift. Forgot about that. I know there was something they did to trick you. They would trick sailors. But mermaids, the mermaid vision that we have is something, looks nice and friendly, but it's really the roots of it is not. It's dark, very dark,
very dark. And in Lake Tahoe in California, it's between California and Nevada, right there. Well, the Tahoe, I can't pronounce it. Tessie, was sighted yesterday. Now, I'm wondering, too, could that be a giant eel like they figure, like the Loch Ness?
Yeah, there's all kind of eels out there. And a lot of those eels, they don't stop growing. They grow as long as they're